Hello there, friends. Welcome back. I have a box, an old Scrabble game on the table today. I believe this is the game of Scrabble that I had in my house growing up. It's the classic crossword game that we all know. There are a lot of ASMR videos out there featuring the game of Scrabble. And it makes sense why that is, because it's a very ASMR friendly game. It's very tactile. You use your hands a lot. You manipulate things. There's lots of little wooden pieces, or at least they're wooden if your game is old enough, right? But this video today is going to be unapologetically simple. I'm going to do my best to take my time, slow down, which is still something I struggle with. And we'll take a look at what's in this box, and maybe by the end of this, we can do a little bit of word association. We'll play with the tiles, put some words on the board, and maybe say a couple of things about the words as we go along. Let's see how that goes. So what do we have in the classic Scrabble box? Well, we have 4 wooden racks. These would be the racks that you keep your tiles, your little letter tiles in front of you as you try to figure out words to place into the puzzle. This is a very well-worn paper bag. I don't know what would have come with the game originally, but at some point along the line we put this bag in there to keep the tiles in while we were playing Nothing beats reaching down into the bag and rummaging through the tiles to try to randomize them. And you can tell that this poor sack has been rummaged through an awful lot, but that's what makes it sound so nice. Yeah, that's outstanding. We have paper for keeping score. Looks like the scores are grouped into his and hers. The last game we played. And the classic board. Copyright 1948 by Selchow and Reiter. I don't actually believe this game was from the 40s or the 50s. That's just the copyright for the game design, I suppose. And then, of course, the classic tiles. That's what they look like in this set. I assume they're wooden. I assume that even if this set is as new as the 70s, I assume the tiles would still be wooden, although they are sealed or waxed, or there's some sort of sealant on them to make them more durable when handled a lot. You can see wood grain, which I assume is genuine. But it doesn't feel exactly like wood in the hand. But these fiddly little tiles one of the key ingredients that make this game so good for ASMR purposes. I wonder if I thought that years ago when I was a kid. I wonder if I responded back then to watching other people in the family manipulate tiles, concentrate on the tiles, changing their order in the wooden rack, deliberating, focusing, fidgeting with the tiles, and then finally placing them on the board. I I wonder if that was a relaxing or triggering or hypnotic thing to witness way back then, before I knew anything about the power of some sounds and some sights. I don't know. But for today, I wonder if we can put the tiles and the board side by side. That's not bad. And then maybe we can start assembling some words very simply, very slowly. And we'll say a couple of things about these words before moving on. Why don't we start with the channel itself? Let's see. I will need to be very careful not to knock these letters around too much. We have a second Scrabble set that is bigger, and the board comes on like a turntable, so that you could rotate the board to face the individual players. And that board has ridges, raised ridges on the borders of all the squares, so that you can set your tiles down and they'll kind of lock in place. And you can accidentally bump a table like that and not have the tiles go everywhere. But here we have our traditional flat, smooth board, so we have to be careful. So this is Gaslamp, of course. I think my OCD is going to demand that I replace this A, because it sits too high on the tile for my liking. See, the tiles are going crazy already. Gaslamp, half the name of the channel, or one of the words in the name of the channel, named after the gas lamp in my front yard that I was in the process of repairing almost 2 years ago, when I was also thinking about putting this channel together, and it seemed like a good inspiration point. Gas lamps are a little bit old-fashioned. They seem a little bit from another time, so it seemed like a good good object to develop a theme around. So, and the other part of the name, we need another, let's see. Let's get the pieces out first. What do we need? We need an S, of course. And we need an R. ASMR. Which, of course, needs no explanation here, other than to say it is the mysterious reaction that I've felt all my life, and that ultimately somehow led me here to this channel, to this very video with you guys watching. It's been it's been an unexpected and rewarding journey. Let's put it that way. So what else can we use letters in Gaslamp for? How about we get a W, we'll get the H, we'll get an I, and we'll need a P and an E and an R. We all know what this will be. We'll use the S in Gaslamp and spell whisper. There's a lot of whispering in ASMR, not quite as much on my channel, but you can't really think about ASMR without thinking about the progenitor, the whisper community, where whispering itself was the primary trigger, oftentimes just whispered over a still image. And that was very triggering for the community before things started branching out a little bit, or a lot. Let's see. What if we come off the E and whisper? Let's see. We'll do a T, and we'll do an I, an N. Let's see. A G. And an L. And here we have Tingle, of course. It's one of the most common words used to describe the actual reaction, the actual response, the ASMR response, if you're lucky enough to be able to feel that response. The tingle, the prickly tingle sensation that oftentimes will manifest at the back of your neck or the scalp at the back of your head, and then perhaps propagate down your spine to other parts of the body. Back in the whisper community days, this reaction was often called chills or whisper chills. Let's see. Let's see if we can use the old high value Q. Q is almost always followed by U, I, E, quiet. It's kind of the way we do things around here, isn't it? The quietness of things. It's very challenging, actually, from a technical perspective, to record quiet things well. But we've done some across the world with these creators. You've got a lot of different styles, a lot of different techniques on how to capture quiet moments. I appreciate the quiet metaphor also because I think it extends to life very well. The notion about how being quiet occasionally lets you be a little more receptive to things that are going on around you. When you're not broadcasting so loudly, it's easier to pick up things that are happening around you. In fact, we could modify this, perhaps. Where's the... Oh, way in the corner. Quietly. This is how we do everything in our content, isn't it? Quietly. Let's see. Speaking of recording, let's see. Oh, do I have another? You guys probably already see it, don't you? Oh, there it is. Let's put the Yeti here. The Yeti is a microphone. Well, there's a lot more going on under the hood than just a microphone, but we call it a microphone, a USB microphone. It's somewhat popular in the community. It's made by a company called Blue Microphones, and although it's just essentially a consumer grade level of quality, it's very, very popular in the community. I'm using one right now, as a matter of fact, that I found at a pawn shop for $35. It was a lucky day for the channel that day. I switch back and forth between it and my regular setup, but it does make for a simplified and quicker setup with the phone that I'm using. Let's see. Maybe we can play off the E in Yeti. Let's find a word that describes the channel a little bit more, or some things that you can find on the channel. Let's build this one backwards, shall we? Oh, I'm going to put that A in the very corner so that I don't accidentally pick it again, because I am not down with that A. Let's see. N, another I, and this fellow, vintage. My daughter used this word to describe one aspect of the Gaslamp channel the other day. I would have said nostalgic or sentimental, but I can't argue that sometimes we do take a look at some older items and muse about them, so I suppose vintage might be apt. I'll let her have that one. As long as she's describing the things we talk about in these videos and not describe me with that word, then if that's the case, I guess we'll be all right. Let's see. I'm not going to use the blank ones. We'll keep those way over here. And that A we're going to keep up in that corner. We'll move everybody else down here a little bit. This C tile is a lot darker than some of the others as well. There's a little bit of variability here. What else can we spell? Let's see. Let's put a T next to the I in vintage. And we'll get a N and a K. And an E and an R. We'll put these guys right here and spell tinker. Now this is a good word for the channel because it's right in the logo image, tinkerings. I have a bit of a ironic relationship with this word, I think, because I had it in my head as I was thinking about what kind of a channel I wanted to make. I had it in my head that I was going to do a lot of tinkering and talking a little bit about what I was doing. But I haven't done a lot of that. the recent video with the slide viewer really got me kind of back into thinking that I'd like to really kind of up my tinkering game a little bit. The sundial compass video was another good example of that, but I definitely need more tinkering on the channel. Another thing we need more of, let's see. We'll put a T here. And trace. Tracing and pointing. This comes in handy with the map videos a lot. Lots of tracing, lots of pointing. I'm a big fan of both of those triggers, tracing and pointing. So we'll put trace right there. Let's see, we're starting to fill up the northwest quadrant of the board. Maybe we should look elsewhere for some more. Let's see, some more words that will describe our community and this channel a little bit. How about we go like this? We need an E, we need an L, and we need an A, and the letter that you're always very happy to use if you can find a use for it in a real game, the 8-point X. Relax. So even if you don't feel tingles, content that is generated to try to trigger tingles has a side benefit many times of being very relaxing. So even if you can't feel tingles, relaxation is a nice perk. Relax. Well, and I guess none of this would be possible without ear. The ear, the entry point many times for all these triggers. You'll read often people say that many times they don't even watch ASMR videos. They just put their headphones or earbuds in and just listen. The ear. You think about all of the video types that are centered around the ear, and even binaural microphones that are binaural because they are trying to model headspace as much as possible, and one of the components of that is to actually have an ear form on each side surrounding the microphone capsule, like the 3DO that everybody knows. So this community and this content, it's all about the ear. Let's see, I'm going to go back to the technical side as we get down into this southeast quadrant. Let's put the word road down here. So we've got Yeti up here, and we've got Rode down here. Rode is a microphone manufacturer based out of Australia. They make some very high quality products, including the the NT1A, I believe the microphone is. It's a large diaphragm condenser microphone that has a very, very low level of self noise. One of the quietest, mass-produced microphones you can get, and popular in some circles for recording ASMR. Let's see, where else can we go with our words? Let's try to do something with the A and ASMR here. Let's go with a D. And let's go with another S. And we'll spell hands. If the ear is perhaps the most important part of the body for receiving this content, hands has to be right up there with the creation side of this content. So many triggers created by doing something with the hands. Not only hands holding objects, but the hands themselves. Reiki videos in particular work some serious magic with the careful movement and manipulation of the hands. Let's see. What else can we say? Let's see, we'll do another content specific word. We'll build from the H in hands and spell watch. I spelled watch here because I've done a couple of watch-oriented videos on the channel. I love watches, in real life, and I think the two watch videos that I did are two of my most viewed videos. So I think a lot of people like the just some close-up studied time with watches. I think both from the modern side and from the antique side, I've done both, and they always seem to be well received. And you often see ASMR creators teaming up with Yode, that watch company that deals with the wooden watch bodies and the wooden straps. They're fascinating watches, but you always see ASMR channels with Yode giveaways, giving away prize money that can be applied to a watch. I've never won any of those contests, but it's always cool to see them pop up. They're very handsome timepieces. Let's see, what can we close our little puzzle game with? Let's see. In a real Scrabble game, I'm always feel very satisfied when I'm able to build a word into one of the triple word score corners. That always gives me a great sense of competitive satisfaction. Let's see. I think this is going to be cheating a little bit, but it's my content and not a real game, so I don't care. Of course, Bob Ross. Kind of the master and the pioneer of unintentional ASMR. One of the easiest ways to explain the effect or this reaction is to just bring up Bob Ross with somebody. Bob Ross was, of course, still on the air on public television when I was growing up, but the effect of watching that man work is the same now as it was when I was a kid. And if anybody grew up during that time or has seen videos more recently on Netflix or the Bob Ross YouTube channel, sometimes all you have to say is Bob Ross and they'll at least understand the relaxing part of ASMR, if not the actual tingle reaction. It's Bob. Well, if you think about it, through the course of doing one of his paintings, he had everything. So many of the things that we talk about as traditional triggers, he would do all of them in the course of a painting. The brush bristles on canvas, the soft-spoken voice, the detailed and focused hand movements. It was was just a buffet of ASMR triggers all in one place. This video is not about Scrabble at all, but just a little bit of a fun diversion. I don't think we're going to end up using the rest of these tiles. Wouldn't this board, the way it looks now, be a very interesting end state for a game of Scrabble? This would be a game that results from some sort of crazy house rule about themes, right? All of your words must have to do with the family theme of the night. And if I picked ASMR one night, maybe we would see something like this. These are very nice. These might pop up on a live stream sometime soon. Friends, I appreciate you indulging me with a little bit of silliness today across the Scrabble board. I hope that picking the letters and manipulating the tiles has been relaxing and maybe a little triggering for you today. I appreciate your support and your indulgence for this kind of silliness today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Take good care of yourself. We'll see you soon.